Did you know that 70% of consumers say they would stop buying from a company if they found out it acted unethically? That means one bad decision can wipe out years of customer trust overnight. Welcome back. Today we are diving into something that every entrepreneur needs to understand before they even think about launching a business: the ethical and social responsibilities that come with the territory. Because here is the truth. Being a great entrepreneur is not just about making money. It is about how you make it. By the end of this video, you will understand what business ethics actually means for entrepreneurs, why social responsibility is not optional anymore, how to handle ethical dilemmas when they show up, what stakeholder responsibility looks like in real life, and how doing good can actually drive business growth. Let us get into it. Section 1. What is business ethics and why does it matter for entrepreneurs? Ethics, at its core, is about knowing the difference between right and wrong, and then choosing right, even when it costs you something. In business, that gets complicated fast. For entrepreneurs especially, ethical decisions come up constantly. Do you exaggerate your product's benefits to close a sale? Do you cut corners on safety to reduce costs? Do you pay your suppliers late to protect your cash flow? These are not hypothetical questions. They are real situations that startup founders face every single week. Business ethics is the framework that guides those decisions. It includes honesty in marketing, fairness in hiring, transparency with investors, and integrity in how you treat customers and employees. The reason it matters so much for entrepreneurs is that in a small business, everything flows from the top. If you are the founder and you bend the rules, that becomes the culture. Your team watches what you do, not just what you say. And here's the thing that surprises most people. Ethical businesses tend to outperform unethical ones over time. Trust is a competitive advantage. But how exactly does that connect to the bigger picture of social responsibility? That is where it gets interesting. Section 2. Social responsibility, more than just a buzzword. Social responsibility means that a business has obligations not just to its owners, but to society at large. This idea used to be controversial. Some economists argued that a business's only responsibility is to make a profit. But that thinking has shifted dramatically. Today, entrepreneurs are expected to think about how their business affects people beyond their customer base. That includes the environment, local communities, employees, and even future generations. This is sometimes called the triple bottom line: people, planet, and profit. For a small business owner, social responsibility might look like sourcing materials sustainably, paying workers a living wage, donating a portion of profits to local causes, or reducing waste in your production process. These are not just feel-good gestures. They are signals to the market that your business can be trusted. Millennials and Gen Z, who now make up the majority of consumers and workers, actively choose companies that align with their values. So when you invest in social responsibility, you are also investing in your brand's long-term relevance. Now, understanding what you should do is one thing, but what happens when there is no clear right answer? That is where ethical dilemmas come in. Section 3. Navigating ethical dilemmas in entrepreneurship. An ethical dilemma is a situation where you are faced with two choices, and both of them have real costs. There is no clean answer. For example, imagine you are a founder who discovers a flaw in your product after thousands of units have already shipped. Do you issue a public recall and take the financial hit? Or do you quietly fix it in the next batch and hope nothing goes wrong? This is not a made-up scenario. Companies face versions of this constantly. And how you respond defines your reputation for years. Ethical frameworks can help. Utilitarianism says choose the action that produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Deontology says there are certain rules you should never break, regardless of the outcome. Virtue ethics asks a simpler question: what would a person of good character do? For entrepreneurs, the most practical approach is often to build an ethical culture before dilemmas arise. Have a clear code of conduct. Create a safe space for employees to raise concerns. And commit in advance to certain non-negotiables, like never misleading customers or never retaliating against whistleblowers. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to have a process that guides you when things get hard, and that process needs to account for everyone your business touches, which leads us to stakeholders. Section 4. Understanding your stakeholders and your responsibility to them. A stakeholder is anyone who has an interest in your business or who is affected by what your business does. That includes your customers, employees, investors, suppliers, local communities, and even competitors in some contexts. A lot of entrepreneurs make the mistake of only thinking about their investors or their customers, but ignoring your other stakeholders can create serious problems. If you underpay your suppliers, they cut corners on quality. If you ignore employee well-being, turnover skyrockets and productivity drops. If you pollute a local waterway, you face legal action and community backlash. Stakeholder theory, developed by philosopher R. Edward Freeman, argues that businesses perform best when they actively consider and balance the needs of all their stakeholders, not just shareholders. This does not mean you can please everyone all the time, but it means you need to be aware of who is affected by your decisions and take their interests seriously. Practical tools like stakeholder maps can help entrepreneurs visualize who they are accountable to and how different decisions ripple outward. Once you see your business as part of a larger ecosystem, the idea of responsibility starts to feel less like a burden and more like a blueprint. And that blueprint, when followed consistently, can actually become your greatest competitive advantage. Section 5. Doing good as a growth strategy. Here is a mindset shift that changes everything. Ethical and socially responsible behavior is not separate from business strategy, it is business strategy. Companies like Patagonia built entire empires around environmental responsibility. Tom's Shoes created a movement with its buy one, give one model. Ben & Jerry's turned social activism into brand identity. These are not charities. They are highly profitable businesses that figured out that purpose drives loyalty. For entrepreneurs, this means every decision you make about how to treat people, your team, your customers, your community, is also a marketing decision. Word spreads fast. Positive stories spread faster than ever, and negative ones spread even faster than that. Building an ethical, socially responsible business from day one is easier than trying to fix your reputation after a scandal. It attracts better employees, more loyal customers, and investors who are in it for the long term. So here is your takeaway. Ethics is not a constraint on entrepreneurship. It is the foundation of sustainable entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurs who last are the ones who build trust, take responsibility, and make decisions they can be proud of. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What is one ethical challenge you think entrepreneurs face most often? I read every single comment. If this video helped you think differently about what it means to run a responsible business, hit that like button and subscribe, because we break down chapters just like this one every week. See you in the next video.